සදහම් සාකච්ඡාව සමගයි ඔබ සියලුම දෙනාම මේ එකතු වෙලා ඉන්නේ. ඉතින් අද දවසට නියමිත ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව තුළින් සද්ධර්මය සාකච්ඡාවට ලක් වෙන දවස තමයි අද දවස. ඉතින් ඒක නිසා ඔබට පුළුවන් ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍ය හරහා සද්ධර්මය අවබෝධ කරගන්නට හැකි පරිසරයක් පරිණිස්සරණය මඟ තුළින් මේ වෙනකොට උදා වෙලා තියෙනවා. ඉතින් අපි දහම් සාකච්ඡාව ඉංග්‍රීසි මාධ්‍යයෙන් ආරම්භ කරන්නට මත්තෙන් අපි සියලුම දෙනාම එකතු වෙලා ආර්ය මෛත්‍රී කර්මස්ථානයේ පුංචි ස්ථානයේ තමන්ට හැකි වෙන පරිදි බාහිර බලපෑම් වලින් තමන්ට බාධාවක් ඇති නොවනසේ තමන්ගේ පරිසරය සකස් කරගෙන භාවනාව සඳහා සූදානම් වෙන්න. අපි මේ මොහොතේදී මේ සිද්ධ කරන්න යන්නේ සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයන් කෙරෙහි මහත් වූ අනුකම්පාවෙන් යුක්තව මෙත් සිත පතුරවන්නටයි. සියලුම දෙනාම දිනෙත් වසා ගන්න. තමන්ගේ සිතින් මෙනෙහි කරන්න. සාදු සාදු සාදු. අනාදිමත් සංසාරයක ඉඳන් සියලු ලෝක සියලු වෙනට මාගේ සිත කය වචනයෙන් කිසියම් වූ අවඩ අසාධාරණකම් සිද්ධ වුණා නම් ඒ සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයන්ගෙන්ම අපි කමාව කරගනිමු. මම කීවට පස්සේ මෙන්න මේ ආර්ය කමා කරගැනීමේ වාක්‍යයන් ඔබ සිතින් මෙනෙහි කරන්න. ශබ්ද නගා කියන්නට හැකි පරිසරයක නම් ඔබ සිටින්නේ. ඔබ ශබ්ද නගා ඒ හැඟීම ඔබ සිත තුළ ඇති කරගන්න. අන්ත සසර පටන් මේ මොහොත දක්වා ලෝව පහළ වූ සියලුම සම්මා සම්බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේලාට පසේ බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේලාට අරිහත් උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාට ආර්ය උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලාට සම්බුද්ධ ශාසනයට සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයිනට මාගේ සිතින් කයින් වචනයෙන් වැරැද්දක් ප්‍රමාද දෝෂයක් කරදරයක් බාධාවක් අවඩක් අසාධාරණයක්, ඉංගියක්, හිංසාවක්, අපවාදයක්, උපවාදයක් සිදු වී ඇතනම් ඒ සියල්ලටම මාහට කමා කරනසේක්වා, කමා කරනසේක්වා, කමා කරනසේක්වා. අනන්ත සසර පටන් මේ මොහොත දක්වා ලොව පහළ වූවා වූ සියලුම බුදුරජාණන් වහන්සේලා, අසෝතානන් වහන්සේලා, අරිහත් උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලා, ආර්ය උත්තමයන් වහන්සේලා මේ විශ්වයට මුදා හැරියා වූ, නිකුත් කළා වූ ශුද්ධ ශක්තියින්ගෙන් මාගේ නිවන් මාර්ගය වඩා ගැනීම සඳහා මාහට අවැසි කොටස මාගේ ශරීරය පුරා පිහිටාවා, පිහිටාවා, පිහිටාවා. එසේ පිහිටලා මාගේ ශරීරය පුරා පිහිටා සිටිනා වූ කළු කිරණ ශක්තියින්, අනවින කොඩිවින ශක්තියින්, මාර ශක්තියින්, අශුද්ධ ශක්තියින්, පිළිකාකාරක ශක්තියින් මා තුළින් බැහැර වෙත්වා, බැහැර වෙත්වා, බැහැර වෙත්වා. එසේ බැහැර වෙලා මාගේ ශරීරය ශුද්ධ භාවයට පත්වෙත්වා, ශුද්ධ භාවයට පත්වෙත්වා. මාගේ සිතද රාග කුණින්, දේශ කුණින්, මෝහ කුණින් සුවපත් වෙත්වා, පිරිසිදු වෙත්වා, ශුද්ධ පවිත්‍ර වෙත්වා. එසේ පිරිසිදු වූ මාගේ සිතින් අලෝභයෙන් යුත්, අද්වේෂයෙන් යුත්, අමෝහයෙන් යුත් සුදු කිරණයන් පිට වී යත්වා, පිටවී යත්වා එසේ පිටවී යන ශුද්ධ ශක්තියෙන් සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ සුවපත් වෙත්වා නිවන් සුවයටපත් වෙත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ සංසාර දුකෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර බයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර රෝගයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර අඳුරෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර දාහයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර ගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර සුඛයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර රාගයෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර බැම්මෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර සයුරෙන් මිදෙත්වා සංසාර කතරින් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා පෙරතික වසන සත්වයෝද පෙර අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝද දකුණු දික වසන සත්වයෝද දකුණු අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝද පසුදික වසන සත්වයෝද පසු අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝද අනුදික වසන සත්වයෝද මුඩුදික වසන සත්වයෝද යටුදික වසන සත්වයෝද මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සෝවාන් ඵලයෙන් නිදුක් වෙත්වා සකදාගාමි ඵලයෙන් නිරෝගී වෙත්වා අනාගාමි ඵලයෙන් සුවපත් වෙත්වා නරි ඵලයෙන් නිවන් දකිත්වා අරිහත් ඵලයෙන් දුකින් මිදෙත්වා නිවන් දකිත්වා අමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ ජාතිගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා ජරාගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා ව්‍යාධිගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා මරණගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා සෝකගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා පරිදේවයෙන් මිදෙත්වා දුක්ඛගින්නෙන් මිදෙත්වා දෝමනස්සයෙන් මිදෙත්වා උපායාසයෙන් මිදෙත්වා යම් පිච්ඡං අලබති ත්වම්පි දුක්ඛයෙන් මිදෙත්වා පංචෝපාදානස්කන්ධයෙන් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ රාග බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා දේශ බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා මෝහ බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා කාම බන්ධනයෙන් මිදෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා කාම ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා රූප ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා අරූප ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා සියලු ලෝක අනාතයි එයින් මිදෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා අතහැරීම නාතයි අතහැරීම වෙත්වා නොයල්ම නාතයි නොයල්ම වෙත්වා මිදීම නාතයි මිදීම වෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා නිවනම නාතයි නිවනම වෙත්වා මමද සියලු ලෝක සියලු සත්වයෝ නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා නිබ්බාන පරම සුඛයෙන් සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා සුඛිතතර වෙත්වා සාදු 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 හොඳයි තෙරුවන් සරණයි සියලුම දෙනාට අද දවසේ දහම් සාකච්ඡාවේ මූලික පියවරක් විදිහට අපි කරගෙන යන ආර්ය මෛත්‍රී භාවනාව වටලා අවසానයි. ඉතින් මෙතෙන් පටන් අද දවසට නියමිත ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව තුළින් දහම් සාකච්ඡාව අපි ආරම්භ කරමු. ඉතින් අද දවසේ ඔබ අප කෙරෙහි මහත් අනුකම්පාවෙන් යුක්තව විලාස් මහත්මයා සූදානම් වෙලා ඉන්නවා ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාව තුළින් ඉංග්‍රීසි භාෂාවෙන් අපිට උතුම් සත්‍ය ධර්මය කියලා දෙන්න. එහෙමනම් අපි එතුමාට ආරාධනා කර සිටමු මෙතෙන් පටන් දහම් සාකච්ඡාව ඉදිරියට කරගෙන යන්න කියලා. තෙරුවන් සරණයි Mr. Vilas.
Therun Sarnai, thank you so much, Lalit Mahanse. So I will start today's English Desana. Before I begin, I would like to welcome all and also recite a gatha to all the beings assembled here to hear to the Desana, and let all beings find happiness. The permanent happiness is Nibbana. So let all beings enjoy the taste of Nibbana in whichever way they are, however they are, be it humans, devas, the Brahmas, in the four lower realms of existence. Let all find peace and happiness. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Samanta chakvalesu atra gacchantu devata saddhammam munirajasa sunantu saggamokkadam dhammasavana kalo ayam bhadanta dhammasavana kalo ayam bhadanta dhammasavana kalo ayam bhadanta. Today I have some people who have joined from India, so let me welcome them also. And I would like to explain in briefly what this was, so that they are also aware on why we do this in the initial before the start of the Desana. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa is actually a formal prayer to the Buddha. The Buddha in the terms of a person who helped all the beings to understand about bhava, that is becoming. So Buddha is bhaveya uddha, that is a person who has the ability to show or guide the people in understanding how everything arises as a conditions and how everything passes away, and why a person would like to become something and then he starts rolling around in the samsara. So we are praying, or we are showing our gratitude to Samma Sambuddha, that is a person who have removed Raga Dvesha Moha, or who has shown us the path on how the Raga Dvesha Moha can be removed, and also who has achieved it himself in terms of investigating the nature and also investigating on the Upada Tithi Bhanga. So that is the reason we start with Namo Tassa Bhagavato Arahato Samma Sambuddhassa. Also the Gatha in terms of Samanta Chakkavalesu is to welcome all the beings who are in this samsara, who have bodies like us as humans, or bodies which are very fine like the Devas and the Brahmas, and bodies which are very gross like an animal, or in birds or insects or any one of these kinds, and also those beings whom we cannot see, but they are also there, as in the case of the pretas, or in the case of the demons, or in the case of the hell people, so who have done a lot of raga dvesha moha in their hearts when they were provided an opportunity to have a body like this. But however, due to carelessness, they might have gone on the wrong path. So that is the reason it is a good practice to call all of those beings who are in the form or without the form, and also on the path of Dhamma, and also on the path of our own lives. We would have had countless amount of lives, and then it would have so happened that we would have come across lot of Aryas, or the people who have taken the noble path, and due to our mistake or misunderstanding, or we have genuinely insulted those people, because when an Arya comes into this world, there won't be any marked physical changes, but there is only a change in her or attitude and attitudes towards life. So we might have caused injury in our thoughts, deed and words to those Aryas like Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami and Arhat. and because of that we would have got a lot of obstacles or challenges in our path in not finding the right environment for us to attain nibbana. So let us take a moment to ask for forgiveness to all those Aryas, all those Kalyana Mitras who had come in our lives either as parents or brothers or sisters or friends or just simple human beings who looked simple from outside but were Aryas in their way of doing things, and due to the ignorance, the avidya, what I had or we all had accumulated in the past, let it end now. Let it help us in attaining the peace and tranquility which is required for all of us. And now that we are on the path of the Buddha Dhamma, which teaches us how to remove the raga, dvesha, moha, or the three aspects of desire, endless desire, then when the desire doesn't happen due to various reasons, then we feel agitated, or we might get angry, or we might get a sense of hatredness for things that didn't happen, either due to a person or a being or the environment or something which came in our path, and we curse, or we might have said unnoble words or not noble words to those people, and that would have caused more of these obstacles. And due to our moha or delusion, we have not known the right path. And due to our fortune, now that we have got it, so let us ask for forgiveness to all of those Aryas, and may they forgive us in whatever form they are now, and help us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Let all of us attain Nibbana at the earliest. Let everyone be happy. Let everyone get the sweet of happiness. So with that, I would like to start the Desana of today. Last week, I had covered about the anicca nature in terms of what is the meaning of anicca and what is nicca. So I will go through that a little bit for 5 minutes, and then we will go into the next topic, that is dukkha, and how they are interlinked. So if you have heard my previous week's Desana, you would have looked at a scenario or an example where a parent is or an newly married couple wanted to become a parent, and then they had lot of challenges in actually getting the baby. So they tried all kind of ways to have the baby, and then when the time ripe, and then they came to know that it is not one child, it is actually two child, and then that lady had 2 abortions earlier also. And then the 2 child or the 1 child had as a normal way, and the other child had some complications. So we have gone through that. So if you see there, in all those aspects, 2 things come into light, that there is a pleasure in everything we seek, we would like to achieve, and that is the reason we have actually look at nicca. That is, things should go as per our liking, because that is what we are made up of. We feel everything should work. So before the start of this Desana, when Lalit had started with the Karmasthana, I had a drop in the internet. So I was looking at my own nature now, that internet was briefly disconnected, and then what should I be doing? So at that moment, the nature is that the internet is going to be there. But the reality is that the internet can get disconnected for various reasons, and the reason is not known. So that means as long as the conditions are suitable for the internet to be there, it looks as though it is nature, that is, it is as per one's liking or one's expectation. So my expectation was to give a Desana today on Dukkha, so I would have had a Dukkha now. So now let us come to the topic of what do we mean by Dukkha, and why Buddha started with Dukkha Sacca. So that will be the topic of today. Where do we find this Dukkha, or is there a real Dukkha, or is Buddha's teaching a pessimistic way of looking at these things, and then why Buddhist or Buddha's teaching talk about suffering. So Dukkha is translated in English as suffering. So I will give you examples on each one of them, and also we will go through why suffering is not the right word to be used, especially when we talk in English, because Dukkha is a very complicated or a very perfect way of explaining in Pali or in Sanskrit. But when it is translated to English, it has all kind of misunderstanding, because Dukkha is translated straight away as suffering. So, taking this example of the internet and looking at what this Desana I wanted to give, there is a pain or an effort or a struggle I need to take for today's Desana. And that is how we all would be doing from morning till we sleep, and also when we sleep, the dreams which comes in, and all of it has certain amount of pain which we have to take in order to have something at the end of it. So when we look at these events, so let us say I wanted to give this Desana, so now I have to get ready for it, and also have to do some preparation, at least to say what is that I am going to speak. So why am I doing that? So there are two reasons why a person would love to do that. Is one is that it is a pleasure. At the end of it, there is a pleasure. What is this pleasure? The pleasure is the happiness what I would get by talking about Buddha Dhamma. But to get the pleasure, I have to struggle, or I have to take the effort, or I have to take the pain for preparation. So that means without preparing or without even thinking what I am going to speak, it's not possible for me to speak. So that means the first thing which happens to all of us in whatever we try to do is to have a little amount of discomfort. I think that would be a good word to use, a discomfort, with an expectation that this discomfort will go away if we do something. So let us start our daily activity, what we do. So as soon as we get up, so I will take a very broad level so that we don't have to go into deeper details of the activities what we do, but fairly we can see how the discomfort is and then how the comfort comes. So when we get up, now we have to brush our teeth. So the wish is, that is the Nitya Sanya would have been, why should we brush our teeth? Because if I were to brush once, and that is sufficient. So when I was a child, when my mother or father brushed my teeth when the teeth was coming out, and I think that should have been the only time I should have brushed. But actually that does not happen, because every time I brush the teeth, something changes there. So I am eating something and then the food gets into my mouth and that gets into acidic. So I have to brush again. So that means there is a discomfort if I don't brush my teeth. Now the question comes, who is at discomfort? Either the person who is going to be with that person is a discomfort, or the person himself is a discomfort. Actually speaking, the person himself is a discomfort because he would feel that something is missing. So this something is missing is the one which we would like to address. So what is that we are missing? We are missing that when we put our tongue to the teeth and then it looks something odd and or it smells. So we want to get rid of that smell. That means we are actually having a discomfort or a struggle to make it look good. So we have to brush the teeth. And then second we come with taking a bath. That means I have to take my body for the bath. Actually, I don't want to take a bath, but my body would demand it because it is not feeling comfortable. So I need to take it for a bath. Then since I am staying in a tropical climate, either in India or Sri Lanka, it is very hot, so we require to put on the fan or an air conditioner or something to make ourselves comfortable. So if the fan were not to be there, so we would be in such a discomfort. That means to get a comfort, to get a pleasure, first and foremost we should be discomfortable. That is, we need to find a discomfort to get comfort. So all that we are trying to do in this world can be briefly put into putting everything into comfort. Now the question comes, who is the person who is getting comfortable? So when I say it is I who is getting comfortable, so then who is this I who is getting comfortable? Is my body getting comfortable, or is my eyes getting comfortable? Is my ears getting comfortable? Is my nose getting comfortable? Is my tongue getting comfortable? Or is my thoughts become comfortable? Or all the combination of this is becoming comfortable? So this is the challenge at what we face, and then when we feel it by the body, that is when I feel hot sensation, then I need something to make myself comfortable. So the objective here is that without suffering or without having discomfort, in anything we do, we cannot find comfort at all. So we can have a relook at it if I am wrong on that. But name something in this world where you don't have to put effort and it automatically happens. I doubt there is anything in this world which we need not do anything, but it will happen. So like if we feel hungry, if we feel hungry is that we definitely feel hungry. So whenever we feel hungry is the discomfort for which I have to go and eat. Now my eyes want to eat, but actually the tongue is the one which is giving the taste. So for the eye, it is all about the color. So the food has colors. So eye is looking at a comfort in the color. Since there is nothing to listen to, so when I go to a restaurant, I am expecting a light music, because food with light music makes my mind even more happier. So what I am looking at a pleasure which it should give it to me. Now I want some different kind, and I am celebrating my wife's birthday or my birthday or my child's birthday or somebody's birthday. So then we require some kind of glitter. So we require the candle, we require a nice cake, and the environment, everything should be there. But actually when I am hungry, my stomach is asking for food. It is not asking for ambience. it never asks for ambience. But I am filling myself with ambience because I want ambience, but my stomach wants food. So these are two different things now. That means the discomfort is in the stomach, but I have a mental pleasure which wants to enjoy. So this enjoyment is in terms of either sight or sound or touch or taste or thinking. So this is what my world is all about. So either of these 6 senses, if one of it is removed for whatever reason, then immediately the answer or the concern will be dukkha. Even for doing it, I have taken the trouble. Now, I don't mind taking that trouble because I am feeling that there is a pleasure in doing so. But when the pleasure is not at all coming, and then what happens to me? I feel terribly upset. So that means I want this condition not to change. And I believe that these 6 senses, which are in my control, are going to listen to me. So what I do here is I would go to the restaurant and then I am going to book the room or book the convention hall for the birthday party, asking them to take care of everything. So that means I am now transferring my dukkha to them. So now they carry my dukkha because they want the money for giving me pleasure. So I expect pleasure. Since I know something might not go well, then I expect them to give me pleasure by paying them money. So they take the pain and in the process gives me pleasure. So let me explain to you what is the meaning of dukkha. Actually, the word dukkha is coined by du plus akkha or dukkha. So du is bad. There are 2 rhyming things like sukha and dukkha. Su is good and akkha is senses, and du is bad and akkha is again senses. So what are these senses in the first place? So we have sorry, so the internet went away. So now I think I'm back. There are 2 kinds. One is the sukha and another one is dukkha. Su plus akkha is good and good for the senses, and du plus akkha is bad for the senses. So let us say what is good for senses and what is bad for senses. Now this dukkha comes into existence because one of the senses has lost its connection. Just like when I was talking, the internet went away and it showed to me that loss of internet, and then that is dukkha. Because what is changed now? The change here is that the internet is not there. And why I require internet? Because I have to speak. That means my kaya or the body is facing an uncomfortable situation that if internet is not there, what do I do? So I want it to work. So I got into dukkha. So if it is working, I get into sukha because it is continuous. That means the nicha sanya is working. That is, nicha is na icha. That is a theory or a nyaya or a theory that it will go as per one's wishes. So I wished the internet should not drop till I complete my desana or the discussions. So I don't want anything to come in between. So I don't want any sound or anything of that sort to hinder whatever I am saying, because then I lose my thoughts. Why do we lose our thoughts? Because that's again is anicca. If you've seen, if somebody interrupts while a person is speaking, or let us say suddenly my wife opens up the door, I'm sitting in a room, and now I'm talking about this subject of dukkha, and suddenly she opens the door. Now what happens to my thought? It stops. So let us say she asks me something, and then it's very hard for me to get back, because those much amount of the thoughts have already gone. So there is no way to recollect or recall it back and then play it back. So that means I am already in dukkha. So one, I have to generate the thoughts is one dukkha, and keeping it is another dukkha. So now what is happening? My thoughts are having a problem. So that means the sense, the thoughts, the dhamma is having the problem. So dukkha is for that sense, and dukkha might be for the eyes or the sight, what we see. I want to see something, but it is not coming. So I wanted it, it's not there. So I have to either wait until it comes, or I have to then come back again. So just like a photographer would like to see a mountain, and the day he goes there is no sun, but it is only clouds, so he doesn't get what he wanted to see. So then what happens? He is in dukkha. First of all, he took the trouble of going there, and then it did not work out. So there is double dukkha actually. That means, so the senses, this eye, the sight, said, where is it? It's not there, but I want it. This I who is wanting it is a combination of everything, and when we go slightly detailed into it in the further discussions and desana, there's something called as vijnana, which I'll be covering it up sometime later. But that is what gives an impression of everything being there. So, what is this dukkha sacca is that in everything we do in life, anything at all, worth of doing or not worth of doing, we have this du plus akkha. That is something missing in that particular sense. So we have 6 senses, 5 physical senses, and 1 chitta, or the thoughts, from where the thoughts keep on moving, and none of them are in the person's control in any way whatsoever. But it gives him an impression that he has control of it, and it will sometime, it's just a matter of time, that the thoughts or the senses, that is the sight or the sound or the taste or the smell or the touch, and the thoughts will go as per one's liking, and that is nicca. So whenever we have this nicca sanya means perception. So whenever we have this perception or sanya, that it will go as per one's liking, we immediately have dukkha, and that is called as dukkha Ariya Sacca. So that is actually the first noble truth, what Buddha started with. Now that is the reason why it is called as Sacca. Sacca is the truth. So Buddha's teaching is not about being pessimistic. He is being realistic. He is not setting any high value, and he is saying that, my dear friend, if you want to do something, you first have to put an effort. That means if somebody were to grow something in his garden, he has to first till the garden. He has to find the mud, the right kind of the mud. Then he has to find the right kind of manure. Then he has to wait for the right kind of rains or the environment, which the sun or the sunlight and the rain and all of that. And he has to protect his land from being eaten away by animals like cows or sheep or goat or any one of these kind. After protecting them, he or she can see the harvest. But there is no way he can predict how good it will be the harvest. It's not possible. So the effort what he has taken to grow those plants and anxiously waiting for them to get the fruit, it might so happen that some of the insects might eat them. So now he has to also take care of removing insects either by using pesticide or by the natural way or whichever way it is, that is it is organic or by pesticide. So he has to take that effort of doing it. And even though he has taken that effort, there is no guarantee that whatever he expected as an output is going to be there. Now we might think, no, it is only for farmer, it's not for me. But if we see in every aspect we do, right from our first grade in the school or even before that, the pre-schooling days onwards, anything can change in the child and anything can change in the school and anything can change in the teacher. And none of it is in anybody's control whatsoever. So when things changes, that is when the nicha becomes anicca, and since we expected it to work in that way, the immediate result is dukkha, but before that also there is dukkha. That is, this child has to be made ready to go to school, and the child might say that I don't want to go to school because he doesn't want the parents to leave it to the school. And we all have experienced it. The first day of the school for the child is crying, the mother is crying. The mother goes to the school and the father is also there to give a moral support that you will come back. But look at the state of the child. The child has been there with the parent for long and then it doesn't want the parent to leave the child and go. It does not know why my parents are dropping me off. Isn't it dukkha? And the growth of the child itself is dukkha, because the child which was just in the small arms of the mother is now grown up to a little bit. So it has to now get conditioned. All those conditioning is dukkha again. So the question comes, where is this dukkha and why it arises? And dukkha arises because dukkha itself is the condition. If dukkha was not the condition, then it wouldn't have arisen. Since the condition is dukkha, it arises and it passes away. And nothing can be done by anyone whatsoever to stop this dukkha from arising. And that is what we keep on finding solutions for our discomfort. So let us say if we didn't have chairs, we would have been squatting on the floor. But that would have pained our buttocks and it would have pained our back. So we found a way of making ourselves comfortable. So we brought in a chair. Now after some time, sitting in one position is not possible, because that's again dukkha. So there is a bodily pain. To relieve from the bodily pain, I need to have cushion. So now the cushion gives me a comfort, but it creates heat because it is cushion. So now I require something else to keep it cool. And when I start talking, the body heat increases and I cannot do anything about that body heat, and it's again dukkha. So, Dukkha Sacca is there all the time, and no matter what anybody feels, it is going to be there. So, what is this Dukkha? So, there are, broadly speaking, there are three kinds which we face it, but there are many of it. But let's start with the three kind. There is Dukkha Dukkha, there is Sankhara Dukkha, there is Viparinama Dukkha. These are the three basic Dukkha what we can find everywhere in the world. Or when we say the world, it is our world or the person's world, what he or she has created. So let us take an example so it becomes very easy. Now I want to buy a car. And in India or in Sri Lanka or any place which is highly populous, it's very difficult to ride the car because there are so many people. So it's discomfort. But there is no other way to make ourselves comfortable. So we have to buy the car. So we have to take it on loan or whatever basis. So the day the car is registered in my name and I become the owner of the car, the problem starts. Now I have to maintain. To maintain, I need to do hundreds of things, and out of that 100, 4 or 5 things are most important. Number one, I need to learn how to drive the car. That's the first most important thing. And second, since I'm not sure, I'm not sure that I will be able to drive the car, I need to have insurance. Why I need an insurance? Because by mistake, if I hit another car, because I just learned, I have no idea, or something has happened and then another person has hit my car. So that is, there is always a possibility that another car might hit me. So with that thought, I have to take an insurance. This is the second immediate thing I need to do after learning the car. That is, when I want to buy the car, it has to come with an insurance. And the third most important thing is that I need to take it to the service center all the time. There is no way I can say this car is not going to stop. It might stop somewhere. To ensure that it doesn't stop, I need to take it to the mechanic or to the service center and show the car whether everything is in good shape. That means I need to maintain the car. The fourth one is that I need to keep on cleaning the car. That is, it will accumulate dust. When it accumulates dust, and then there is always a problem of that. So I need to keep on cleaning the car. Whether it is advisable or not, I need to do that. So as I clean the car loses its color, and also because of parking in the sun, it can lose its color, and I have to keep on applying a kind of oil or a gel or some kind of grease to make that look nice. So I call it as polish. So I need to be polishing the car to ensure that it looks nice, it looks new. What would happen if it is dirty? I will not be interested in sitting in that car. So I need to always maintain it. So this is dukkha dukkha. And I keep on doing it I keep on doing sankhara dukkha to maintain dukkha dukkha. If I don't do that, the car will not be in the way as I wanted. So what is that I need to do? I need to keep on taking care of this car. And suddenly, one fine day, while I had parked my car, I used to park my car in the garage, and today, for some reason, there was a festival, so I kept the car outside, and there is a huge tree, and one of the branches fell on the car, and the car is damaged. I never expected it, but it has happened. That's called viparinama dukkha. So these three dukkha are going to be there all the time, whether we want it or we don't want it. That means dukkha is part of life. So all that we can do to safeguard ourselves is to ensure that nothing can be maintained for long. Now this is the concept of dukkha. That means there is number one, there is a pain before we do something, and there is a pain after we do something also. So in that way, Buddha started explaining about what do you mean by birth of a condition. So there's a English word is birth, but again there is a problem with English because the exact word is jati in Pali, but since we use English, it is very difficult because everything becomes birth. And whenever we say birth, it seems like everything is coming from the womb. It need not be. So, what is this birth? Birth is nothing but a starting of a condition. So, let us not go into the birth of a baby. That is the ultimate condition what has got transformed. An idea gets generated in the mind. So let us say there is a empty land, and I am looking at buying the land so that I can build a home on that the way I wanted it. So two things should happen for me. There is a thought. So there is a thought which says that why not we have a home. So this is where the condition is started. So there is a bhava before. What is the bhava? Bhava is to have a place to stay. Without bhava there is no jati. So bhava as a condition, that is becoming as a condition. What is the becoming I had? I want to own a home. That is my becoming. And I've seen everybody having a home, but I not having a home is not acceptable. So I would like to have a home for myself. So what I do is I take all the effort required to arrange for the money to buy the home, to buy the plot or the land. Now because this condition has to materialize, I should be discussing with various parties apart from my family. So my parents might say, are you sure that you want to buy this property, this land, because we ourselves have a home, you can come and stay there? That can be one of the options, where my wife might say, no, it is better to have our own home. Or the relatives might say, no, it is good to have your own home, then you can enjoy that. So at looking at a pleasure which I am going to get by constructing a home, I am having a thought which creates the idea of having the home. That means a thought comes first and then I have this idea. But just having an idea is not going to help in any way. So I have to give it some energy for the idea. Otherwise, I will not able to construct the home. So what I do is I then discuss, I then find an architect, I then find the owner who is having the plot. I try negotiating with him, because all that I want is the birth of a condition is the home for me to reside. So for the jati to happen, all these have to go together. All these conditions has to happen. So my idea should, if it has to take a shape, see, we use the word shape, idea should take a shape. That is, it has to get sketched. Means these conditions should have happened. That is, I should have an idea and I should have the resources for me to buy that property, or buy the plot. Now once I buy the plot, it is easy for me to now look at what needs to be done to make that home. So when this idea came into existence, it comes with death also as a condition. So there is a decay of the idea. So I first looked at that plot, but I don't have the right drawing or the right 3D image in my mind. My idea will die if I don't do something about it. So what I do is, it is getting aged, that is the jara. So because of the jara or the aging of my thought, I need to create fresh thought. I need to create fresh idea. So now I go to my friend and I ask him, my dear friend, do you know any designer who can actually design a blueprint for my home? He says, yeah, don't worry. I had a similar. I know a person. So when I was building my home, he was the person who helped me a lot. So I would engage you with him, and then you will be able to get a very nice designs, and with that design you can then look at the contractor who can then build the home. And before that you need to get the permission, so he will also help you in getting the municipal permissions and all that. But you please understand, all these are individual thoughts and ideas. So that means there is already jara of a thought. It is dying and you need to create fresh thought to make it active. Otherwise there is no way that house can ever happen. It will just remain as an idea. So now, jati pi dukkha, jara pi dukkha, maranam pi dukkham. That is, now the condition is dying, right? So the initial idea of this plot, you might have had an idea, or I might have had an idea of how this building should look. Whereas the architect who is now nominated will say, this is not the way you can do this, because the table bed of the water is something different. This the neighbors properties, how it is different. The sun should come in this way, so you should have light, you should have good air, you should have this, you should have that. And then he changes. He basically changes the idea what I had. So there is a death of that condition. That means it's already gone. So when it is gone, I am in dukkha. Jati pi dukkha, jara pi dukkha, maranam pi dukkham. So now what happens? I didn't know, after buying I came to know the next door neighbor is not a good person. In fact, he wanted to buy the land. So I have bought a property where this next door person is not of good nature. So now I am staying with somebody whom I would not be willing to live with. But what to do? I have already bought. So that being the case, I can't now move out of that property at all. Now, what is the first thing I need to do? Either I need to ignore that and say, oh no, that is not true. What is true is that my friend or whoever said that this next door neighbor is not good. Indeed, he might be good, but it might be my misunderstanding. I paid so much of money to buy this property, so everything will go well. So then keeping that is appiyehi sampayogo dukkho is what I am facing. That is, this condition, the next door neighbor not being okay is a condition. And I am now worried about that condition. So when I appoint a contractor, again this contractor is not that good, but I didn't have any choice. Let us say again, I did not wanted this kind of contractor, but since I didn't have any other option, because I need to start constructing, and the architect said, "Don't worry, sir, we are there for you. Why do you worry? This contractor is good. I will tell him." So appiyehi sampayogo dukkho is always there, because we are giving this work to somebody else, and whenever we give it to somebody else, there is always a possibility that the person whom we have given might not be able to do a good job. That's always possible, because the contractor people are the people who are actually doing the job. It's not the contractor. Again, he might have some people who have appiyehi sampayogo dukkho. That is, he might have people who do not listen to this contractor, or who have problem with their skill or the way they do things. So this is going to be there. So now what has happened is, on one side I don't like the neighbor. I've been told that the neighbor is very harsh. So as soon as the house construction begins, and as predicted, this neighbor comes and speaks to me. He says, "My dear friend, I appreciate that you want to build your home. I don't have any problems for that. But please ensure that none of these debris or the mud or whatever you're going to do falls even an inch or even a centimeter in my property. I will be very, very upset if it happens." Number one. Number two, let us say if it happens, the same day it has to be cleaned, and it should be as it would have been without your property being built. So I tell it to the contractor. The contractor says, "No problem, we will do it. I will take care of your neighbor." So every day there is a fight going on between the neighbor and the contractor, and whenever you go, there is a complaint box saying that this is not okay, that is not okay. So you have to listen to all of that. And in the same way, one of your friend wanted to shift to the same place where you are building. But then something happened, and he is not only shifting, he's not only cancelled his shifting, but he is moving out of the city. It's even more worse, because I was taking all the suggestions from him. Now he is not there. Now I am facing a problem of piyehi vipayogo dukkho. So what happened? I wanted a home. In the process, my idea died, and in its place, it was replaced by the architect's view of the home, and the contractor started building it based upon whatever idea he and the architect came up with. That means all my idea has gone now, so it is already maranampi dukkham. To top it all, now I am in contact with the neighbor and the contractor and people who don't do as per what I say. So I am in a appiyehi sampayogo dukkho. And then I had my friend who was guiding me, and he was talking to me every now and then what I should be doing, and he is the person who actually suggested this architect, and the architect suggested the contractor, and then he was saying that he is also looking at shifting near my home. I was so happy, but piyehi sampayogo dukkho has happened. Now what do we do? That means what I expected, that did not happen. So, yam picham ne labati tampi dukkhan. That means whatever I expected, that my home will be so nice and everything is going to go so well. I had done this planning so meticulously. I thought that nothing is going to go wrong this time, because I waited all these years to accumulate the money required for the property, and I have done all analysis. I have asked as many number of times possible. I have taken care of each and every smaller aspect of it. But now what has happened? I did not get what I expected it to be. So this is going to be the Dukkha Ariya Sacca all the time in anything we do. It can be anything. It can be building a home, to going to a restaurant, to going to somewhere, going for a vacation. And in fact, there are people, since I have a company, I work for a company which is into vacation planning, and I see this happening every time with people wanting to go to a particular place. So they come up with the idea of vacation, and when they come up with the idea of vacation, so there is a jati there. And when they start discussing, there are a lot of things which are changing there because of the environment, because of the place where they want to go, either on the cost or the number of days or the airline ticket or so and so. A lot of things are there. So there is jara and there is marana, because now they wanted to go to a particular place and their budget is not fitting into it. So say, okay, sorry sir, we might not be able to go this time, we will contact you next time. And then there's maranam. So this is the state of affair. So in between is vyadi. Vyadi is the disease. So the condition here will deteriorate in whatever we do. So if we see, ultimately the person don't get what he or she wanted in the first place because of panchupadana khanda, that is rupa, sanya, rupa, vedana, sanya, sankhara, vinyana. This is what the condition called as I, which is connected to the senses, and then as the rupa changes, so the vedana changes, and rupa cannot be kept constant at any point in time to one's wish. So the vedana also cannot be maintained at the same time. Sukha vedana will change into dukkha vedana. And then we have sanya, which is the perception. So depending upon the changes which has happened, the perception also changes. So that also doesn't stay same. Then we do something and create a new condition, and that new condition is again jati because of the bhava. Now the question comes, why do we create so many things? Because we want to live ourselves in those conditions. That means in a day, I want to have my own bhava, different becoming. So in the morning, I want to become a good husband, and in the later part of the day, I want to become a good employer, and in that later part of the day, I want to become a good supplier, and in another later part of the day, I want to become a good teacher, and in another part of the day, like today, I would like to do a good desana. So I am becoming an expert in giving desana. So that is what I want to become. So when there is becoming, there is a jati. So now this desana started at 5:30, and Lalit Swamin Vahanse started the Karmasthana. Now I have spoken this far. So there is already jati, jara, marana, soka, and then we have all of these conditions already. That is, depending upon the topic, what we have selected, there might be people who would be enjoying it. There might be people who would say that, no, this is not the topic I wanted to enjoy. And nothing can be done because we all have Panchupadana Skandha. So the Pancha Skandha, that is Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana, can be split up into two ways. One is the Rupa, one is the, Nama and Rupa. Nama has the Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, and Vijnana is outside of it. So Rupa plus Nama plus Vedana is what is given as self or I. So when I say Vilas, it is inclusive of all of these five, and I keep on creating an idea or a thought that I want to become this, and because I wanted to become that. Then there is Jara, that is aging of it or decay of it. And because of that decay, then there is Marana, that is that thought will die. And then, just like I was explaining to you, that I might get associated with a condition which I might not like. Just like the internet going down was a condition which I did not like. But it went away. I really cannot do anything about that condition. No, nothing I can do about it. So, appiyehi sampayogo dukkho. And then I didn't wanted this internet to die down. So, PA is vipayogo dukkho, because the internet went away. So, now I am in my vipayogo. And when this has happened, what do you expect me to do? It is yampicham nailabati tampi dukkham. Because I could not get what I wanted at that point in time, I am in a state of not getting what I want. So these five skandhas, Pancha Skandha, keeps on changing, playing its game, creating more and more and more dukkha. So it's not about birth of a baby is the condition. It's not about going to school is the condition. It is all the conditions taken together is the dukkha. So we always have this jati marana as a condition all the time. So jati pi dukkha, then jara pi dukkha, vyadi pi dukkha, maranam pi dukkha. This condition is there in everything possibly we can think of, including my own talk, whatever I am doing right now. After some time, after another hour, I might not get any idea at all on what now to speak. That means all my ideas are gone. That means the thought, whatever was coming, unless I fill it up with something, it doesn't happen. So now I have to give rest to my mouth, because the mouth has been talking this long because of the vachi sankhara. So all of the thoughts are streamed, just like I am streaming and on Skype, and like that the thoughts are getting streamed. Now that I keep on talking and talking and talking, after some time there is maranam as a condition. So there is death of that condition, and I have to create new one. And now that means to say that I have to create new scenarios. I cannot be talking the same scenario. You will also get bored with that scenario. So you require more new things, and I also require more new things, because without that I cannot possibly explain. So I need to come up with new examples, and you also expect that he spoke this, but again why is he telling the same thing? I don't want to hear the same thing. I want to hear something else new. Why? Because that is the bhava. The new bhava started. So you want to get more information, and I want to give more information. So both are in that bhava. So we created a jati, which is the birth of the condition. So that is creating, that is the dukkha. So once there is a bhava, there is always going to be a jati. Once there is a jati, there is a jara. Once there is a jara, there is going to be maranam. and in between that is a very brief period of Vyadhi. So Vyadhi is nothing but disease, and the problem with again English, dis-ease, that is, you will have discomfort. Basically, for doing something, there is always a discomfort. So the best word to be used instead of calling it a disease is discomfort. It can be any kind of discomfort. Right from now, I'm sitting in my chair. I would have moved my leg so many number of times by now. So that is the disease, that is the discomfort, because I'm not able to sit in one place and explain. So I need to change my seating. Also movement of the body. So I need to move my neck. And then I need to take the saliva inside. So each condition is changing, and each of these condition itself is maranam. And there is the new saliva coming is the jati. And then there is jara, because the immediately after the saliva comes, it goes into the mouth, and before it seen, it has gone through the vyadhi and marana. Vyadhi as a condition of discomfort. So now there is dryness, so the saliva goes and makes it wet, but it doesn't stay there for long, so it has to disappear. So the disappearance is again the maranam, and other things go forward. So this aspect of dukkha, in terms of we have to do something all the time to maintain this condition, and this condition cannot be kept constant no matter what we do, and that is the anicca. So if we were to understand anicca properly, that in everything we do from morning till evening to the night to the sleep, or we might not get sleep, to the dreams, we might not get dreams the day when we wanted to have dreams, or we might get days when we did not wanted to have dreams, that day we have a lot of dreams. And in fact, when you don't expect people to come to your home, that day you have a lot of people coming to your home. The day you expect a lot of people to come to your home, there might be no people coming to your home. So all of these conditions are beyond somebody's wish. So if we might wish that let this happen, let that happen, but who is this person who is saying let it happen, let it that happen? Is only the Panchupadana Khanda. It is not a real person who is doing it, because there is absolutely no real person. And if you were to do some YouTube videos, you'll find that in our body more than 70% is taken care by the by the bacteria. So if somebody were to say, I am this, actually there are bacteria is there. So he has to talk to all the bacteria in the first place. And then if he says that I am that, then there are other bacteria which are helping the body to survive. Like an example is that gut bacteria. So without the gut bacteria, the person cannot digest the food. So whatever the food the person is eating, or supposed to be eating, it goes into the stomach. The person might feel that he is the person who is digesting the food, but really it's a bacteria which is cutting, which is biting the food and making it into smaller parts so that the stomach can take it. If the gut bacteria were not to be there, the person dies. So that means in no possibility we can say I exist, because scientifically speaking we are made out of cells and microbes, and we are consisting, each human being consists of microbes. And also there are hidden beings in our skin which we can't see right now. So that is another dukkha altogether. So I don't see, but let us say I take a microscope and take a piece of my skin, and then, or rather keep my hand below the microscope, I will be shocked to find number of organisms which are enjoying their world is the skin. There is not even one part in my body, in the external skin, whatever I have, there are no organisms. They are beautiful organisms leading a life, and for them, that is their home. Just like for me, this body is the home, for supposed to be the Panchaskanda, for me, this is the home. And there are these organisms which are not microbes, they are not bacteria, but these are real organisms, and they have made this skin as the home. And you would have heard about fungus, that is another way, another kind of organism which eats the skin, the outer skin, because that's its food. So when there is fungus infection, when we say infection, it means that it is eating away the skin, and that is why the reason we scratch. Now what happens? We have to go to the doctor and take the skin cream, and what happens? That germ, not the germ, rather that fungus dies. And there are these minute organisms which are harmless as far as the human goes, and it is there everywhere in the skin. The skin which falls down every day, if we see, there is a dukkha actually. Why? Because it is my skin which is falling. But I don't do anything about that, because I cannot do anything about it also, and I might not be knowing that this much of the skin is gone. And since there is no replacement, the aging comes in. So there is always this jara. So the baby, when it was born, it looks so nice, and after 50 years, the same baby, supposed to be the same baby, is looking old. What happened? The outside skin keeps on falling, keeps on changing shape, because it is getting replaced. Now the question comes, who is replacing it? You think, am I replacing it? There is no way I can replace it, because I don't have any power to replace it. So that means it is automatically happening. So without whether I wish or I don't wish, the skin gets changed. No matter what I do, even if I go for a Botox or whatever which has come in the market, if I were to inject all kind of fluids or whatever it is, it cannot be sustained. That wish of mine in no way can be sustained. That means I cannot escape the dukkha. And even if I were to get it injected, I have to first take the pain. Just like I want to reduce my tummy, I have to exercise. For doing tummy exercises, I need to take the pain. I need to exercise. When I exercise, at that time, my the abdomen area is going to pain, and I have to do whatever that trainer is telling me to do. If I don't do, he will ensure that I do it. That means I pay money to the gymnasium to get a flat stomach so that it looks good. If I don't exercise for 2 weeks, guess what? That paunch again appears. That's again dukkha. So to make that condition work is a dukkha. If I don't work it out, is again a dukkha. So that is the meaning of dukkha, which I wanted to cover today. So I will now open this for questions if you have. Any questions? Or we could also have discussion on dukkha instead of questions.
Jara Dukkha and Vyadhi Maranampi Dukkha, and actually it is very clear. So here, why do we say Jati P Dukkha? You see, actually, when someone die, that we don't worry, but someone die in our family, we really worry. So then that is why I think Buddha said jati pi dukkha. Pi means priya. If someone priya to us, that we have dukkha. So could you kindly explain it? I think it's. I want to more. I want to understand more something about it. Could you please explain it?
Yes, sure. So there is two words, api and pi. Pi is priya, api is apriya. So you're right. Not only death of a family member is a priya, and that's the reason we get into dukkha. See, the jati pi dukkha is that when a condition arises wherein it is not as per what we like, is dukkha. So jati has come into existence with a condition. Till the condition is going on fine, we might feel happy. When the condition goes away, we will feel disappointed or we feel bad. So jati pi dukkha is actually can be taken as jati api dukkha. Reason being, if we don't get the condition what we like, api is apriya, jati pi dukkha is actually in that way. So if we don't get the condition what we don't like, it is dukkha, but we get the condition what we like is sukha. So the jati or the jara, marana, soka, parideva, dukkha, domanasa, upayasa is dependent upon whether it is apiya or piya. Even for piya, the effort done turns out to be apiya in the end. So you are right that pi means priya and api means apriya, that is dislike. So jati pi dukkha means birth of something that is not liked by one, causes suffering. That is, if the child, let us say, is born with not with proper legs or hand or eyes or ears or whatever, or he or she is having fever or whatever it is, right? So it is apriya. Then it creates dukkha because the condition has changed. Hope I could answer.
Yeah, actually, thank you, and it's clear. And Buddha says that we have to see this dukkha without priya. Then we could perceive this. Otherwise, having priya, we can't perceive this dukkha.
Yes.
Nevertheless, it's very good, and we could. I understood it.
Yeah, and one other thing, Lasanta, since you asked me this, is that yes, you should see it apriya, but we see it priya because of nicha nature in us. We have a desire that it should work. So that's the reason we always see priya in everything.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other question? Or we could also discuss on this whole dukkha. Okay, so if we don't have any questions from anyone, shall we end the session for today, and then I can do the final relieving ceremony kind of a thing. Okay, so let all beings who have assembled here today, be it the devas, the brahmas, and the manusa, then or preta or any of these realms where there is suffering, let them get rid of suffering in terms of raga, dvesha, moha. Let them get nibbana, let them work towards nibbana. Let this desana or the discussion what we had help all the beings to understand the reality. The reality is that there is dukkha in everything we do. To do also there is dukkha. If we don't get what we wanted to get, there is dukkha. So there is always a priya and apriya. We always want priya things to happen, that is to one's liking, but generally it doesn't happen because of the condition changing here and there. So let all beings attain the noble fruit of nibbana by following the noble eightfold path. Let them have samma ditti, and let them start with samma sankappu, samma vacha, samma kammanta, samma ajiva, samma vayama, samma sati, samma samadhi. Let there be peace in terms of nibbana, nibbanam paramam sukham. So let all of us do our effort in resolving the sansara. San consists of raga, dvesha, moha. Sara is good, so we have a wrong perception or sanya that the raga, dvesha, moha are good, and with that intent we have been following our lives again and again and again. So let us all do a sankappu in identifying the dukkha, and let us come out of dukkha. So let us follow the four noble truths indicated by Buddha, and let us all attain nibbana. Thank you very much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.